Hey everyone, it's Roman Rich. Thanks for joining me. Today I got a quick RV tip. We're getting ready to do some spring cleaning. Gonna go on a family vacation. We love going out in the Winnebago, but there's one thing that really bothers me out from the factory is that they got this giant windshield, these big huge wiper blades, and we got this little bitty washer bottle. And here, I'll grab it real quick. I've already disassembled it. Here it is. Not that big. I think it probably holds 1.5 quarts. 1.5 quarts, that giant windshield. I think I was getting about 1 to 2 washings out of every container full of fluid. So put that back in. I'm going to show you how to upgrade to this mammoth 1.5 gallon jug. Got this from US Plastics. Let's check it out. Okay, so you'll notice I've already kind of gone through the liberty of disconnecting it and everything. It took me about 5 minutes. It took me longer to find the socket. It takes an 11mm socket. There's 4 bolts. You just slide that off. And kind of the cool thing here is we'll look at the two of them compared side to side. Size-wise, you'll notice down inside of the compartment here, there's plenty of room to work inside this Winnebago. This thing slide right down in there. I mean, come on, Winnebago. What would it cost you? An extra $5, $3 to put in a big water jug so that people don't have to be refilling constantly? It's kind of dangerous. You get up in Alaska and there's bugs and all sorts of nastiness that gets all over your windshield, but look at these two compared to each other. And the cool thing about the washer fluid pump from US Plastics, it doesn't require you to mess up your pigtail connector. It comes with a washer fluid squirter, and gosh, the connector just plugs right in. Here it is right there. So I'll show you. Boom, just plugs right in. So you don't have to splice or cut the factory stuff at all. You just find a way to mount it up and put it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go ahead and retain these 2 screws here. I'm going to cut these off with a grinder, and then I'm going to probably have to weld in something on this side to accept that. So I may have to kind of drill in the new pilot hole here because these don't quite line up exactly, but not a big deal. Won't take much to do that. So I'll take a little break, get some tools, come right back to it. Okay, so here we are. Got my big grinder here. We're just going to take and lop these 2 studs off real quick. 1 and 2. We're going to cut those off, and then I'll take and drill a new hole in the washer fluid container for the mounting flange for it to accept one of these 2 bolts. They're just kind of offset a little bit. So let's go ahead and grind this dude off. Grind them off nice and flush. I got a little bit sticking up here. That way it doesn't poke through the new container. Alright, it wasn't too difficult. So the next step is we're going to go ahead and mark this container and then drill us a hole. Alright, so here's our new container, US Plastics. I'm not being endorsed by them at all. I just thought, what a great product. Probably want to put this down a little bit lower if possible. It looks like that's about as low as I can get. Right there. The reason I say get a little bit lower is because that way you can tilt your jug as you're filling it. So let's see here if we can mark this real quick. We're going to put it right there with my Sharpie. Alright, now we'll just kind of run over. Hopefully there's a bit in the drill press. Okay, so I like to do this no matter what I'm doing. Just put a little pilot hole there. We're going to just take that and depress it down. And that gives us a little divot to start our bit. And I don't have a bit in my drill press, but this unibit will suffice. I'm just going to stick it over here on this vise as a bridge. looks like it'll work. Let's go test fit it real quick. Okay. Yeah, it slid on much better. Now, I've got this resting on the frame of the truck, and so if you're lazy like I am sometimes, you could probably just bolt it up and be done. But in this case, with it's being so big and with so much leverage, I don't want that plastic to get fatigued, so I'm going to go ahead and measure out a little spacer there, maybe weld together a nut, and then basically I just kind of create like a pedestal and put a nut on it, and then I can probably bolt right to it. It's probably the easiest way to go. Okay, so let's go. Tape measure. Looks like 1.25 inches is what we're looking for. So I'm going to have to make me a couple little pedestals, 1.25 inches, and then weld them to this frame right in here, and then I'll have a nut a bolt that'll bolt right to it. And I was looking around, I'm going to have to extend my wiring. I was just talking about how great it was. We don't have to cut this, but this is far enough away and it's kind of tethered up to where I'm going to probably cut these wires and then solder in an extension. I'm not going to use butt connectors. And same goes for the hose. The hose kind of runs up through here, comes out down through here. I could probably take it out of that loop, but I want it to kind of look as factory as possible, so either I'll have to go get a whole new chunk of hose or put some kind of coupler in there. Probably the better thing to do is to pull that whole chunk of hose out all the way back up to there and measure it, how much more I need, and then put on a new piece of hose. That way there's no restriction in the line, so it's probably what I'm going to opt to do. All right. Okay, so I was digging around my shop kind of like MacGyver, and I found this piece of metal, which is just in my little scrap pile. Heavy duty wall, exactly 1.25 inches, and it measures pretty much the exact same length of that tank. And so I think what I'll end up doing here is I'll pull a tank off, I'll line it up with this guy, and I'll just elect to drill and tap holes in there and then weld this whole piece here. That'll be super heavy duty, and I'll get rid of this piece of metal I had laying around for no reason. So let's do that instead. Use this little handy punch to I'm just using my other holes to locate this. It'd be better if I had a center punch, but I don't. So I have to give it 3 good shots to make a nice divot. Same thing here. Okay, one to grow on there. Now the next thing I'll do is I'll find a screw that'll go in there and go ahead and drill that out. Could even use self-tappers, make it even faster. So let's go see what MacGyver has in stock. Okay, being I've taken somewhat of a MacGyver theme here, I'm not going to deal with tapping it. I'm just going to go ahead and use self-tappers. If we can get through it with this unibit even, I don't know if it will. Okay. See if this one will cut again. Pretty thick steel, it might not want to. Yep, good deal. Alright, so that's in. Now the next thing we'll do, we'll fasten this on there. And leave it kind of loose. Give it a little bit of play so I can make sure I get on the other side. And then I'll take a scribe and I'll mark where this needs to go. I'll probably throw a little bit of paint on it too so it doesn't sit there and rust. Alright. Find my scribe. There. filter wrench that I dropped. And we'll scribe this. And we'll go ahead and throw some paint on it. Grind the one side that we're going to weld. We'll get it welded up. It'll be nice. Okay, yeah, I like that a lot better. From there, it looks factory. And it's going to look factory because, I mean, probably looks better than that little thing right there. It's silly. Alright, get that scribed out, and I get my grinder and grind on a little bit. Next step, installation. Already got my metal grinded right there so I can weld to it. I've already got the Winnebago grinded also. I got some satin black paint, which is probably pretty close to what the factory has there. Definitely not gloss. So I'm gonna paint this real quick, backside, trying to cover my welds. Light coats, just keep it from rusting. Plus it'll have more of a factory appearance if I decide to ever go sell this RV. Nobody will even notice that I added this, which is cool. It's what I'm going for. Okay, we'll let that dry a little bit. Then we're going to go ahead and weld it back in place. I'll spray some more paint on it, and we'll attach the the washer fluid container, and then we'll give it a squirt and see what happens. Okay, so I got it all painted. Got it kind of connected up there. I already extended my wiring. I used some connectors with solder in them. Put them together. Use a little torch there, heat them up, and it kind of melts them together. Pretty cool. You can find those on eBay. But I'm going to test fit this real quick. Stick that in there like so, and that's how it looks. It's going to look pretty good. So next thing I'm going to do before I take the plastic housing out is I'm going to go ahead and weld her up. So I'm gonna, if it'll fit in there, let's see. I don't know if it will. Yeah. Make sure you get a good connection. Got it clamped down. Turn my welder on. I'm just going to turn away and not look. I'm just going to get a little tack going, and that way I can pull it back off. But you can look. Let's see there. There. Okay, probably would help if we turn the gas on. Yeah, definitely need to turn the gas on. Okay, so get a little quick tack. Looks pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna get my welding helmet on so I can see what I'm doing. Right there. Got a hard time seeing. I got a dirty helmet and it's kind of at a weird angle here. I don't think it's going to take much to hold a gallon and a half of washer fluid. It looks pretty good for not being able to see. Yeah. Not too bad. Alright, I'm going to hook it up with the electricity. I'm going to extend my washer fluid hose, and then we're going to give it a squirt right next. Be right back. Okay, I got it all wrapped up. Let's go ahead and give it a test squirt, see what happens. While I was at it, I went ahead and took an air nozzle, blew out my squirters, but probably not a good idea to do that. You probably want to take a welding tip cleaner and go to the nozzles directly and spray and grind them out that way, because I ended up blowing all the hoses off of my system. So, all right, got the key on already. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the button and see what happens here. All right, got a little weak squirt on that one. I may have to clean it out a little bit better. But overall, it's spraying pretty good. I got plenty of juice to spare. 1.5 gallons versus 1.5 quarts. So I hope you enjoy that. Maybe it helps you out. Maybe Winnebago will see this and I'll actually pony up and put a little bit bigger capacity reservoir in there. If you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe. I don't do a lot of these improvement videos, but if you're interested in Route 66, check out my other videos. I'd appreciate that. And as always, share. I'm Roman Rich. As always, go your own way. I'll see you down the road.